in When Technology Fails, in the chapter on healing, I've got, my wife is a gifted hypnotherapist, and Rick is a hypnotherapist too. And when she was taking her training, one of the ladies in the class told the story, in that she and her husband were out cutting firewood, and the chainsaw slipped, and he got a major artery in the thigh.
Oh, man. That's how I lost this arm, by the way, it was a chainsaw.
And so he was just spurting blood, and she had never had any training. I don't, must have been past life memory or something. Who knows what it was.
Tourniquet, yeah.
So she had him do deep breathing and visualize a faucet turning off, and the blood stopped. She loaded him in the car, drove 40 miles to the hospital. The doctor looked at the wound and said, "Oh, I'm really kind of worried because it's not bleeding enough, and I'm worried about infection." So she took off the hypnotic suggestion of turning the faucet off, and it started gushing all over in the hospital.
That is the power of the mind.
Yeah.
That is the first start of learning how to control your environment. You start with your mind.
So some people have bitched that I spent time on this stuff in When Technology Fails, and it sounds hokey, like energy healing, hypnosis, all that. But if things really fall apart and you got nothing else to do, or nothing else to rely on, I want people to have a smorgasbord of options, including herbal healing, including colloidal silvers, including hypnosis, including Egyptian energy healing, including all kinds of things, so that you may not be adept at any of them, but somebody, maybe your neighbor, can pick up the book and use it, and it works. Glove anesthesia was developed, well, it was temple sleep in ancient Egypt, which is basically hypnosis. But in the 1800s, there was a doctor, a Scottish doctor named Isdale, and he used glove anesthesia, hypnosis technique, to do surgeries. And there's a report of some guy witnessing a woman in the hospital speaking and totally awake and aware, having her leg amputated with a little screen so she couldn't see it, and not feeling a thing. Totally drugless, just done with hypnosis. So, I'm not saying go out and do it, but it makes a big difference. And I have funny things with pain. I mean, sometimes when I have a huge impact, I'm in extreme pain. Like when I fell 20 feet onto a stump in a sitting position, that was painful. It was really, really painful. But when I fell 50 feet and looked down and my left foot was staring me in my face and the sole of my foot, I didn't feel a thing. And
shock is wonderful. That's a useful tool.
Yeah, it can be. And usually when I smash things really hard, I don't feel a thing. So just sometimes I do. Usually I don't. But the point of that one is the surgeon said I had a 5% chance that my foot would ever work again, because the bones blew out the left side of the foot and totally shredded all the connective tissue. And the ankle joint is a combination of, it's a tongue and groove joint between the heel bone and your tibia, and the heel was shattered into a bunch of pieces, so there was a good chance it would just never work again. The surgeon did say he dug around and found 3 good pieces that fit together well, so they threw a bunch away they couldn't do anything with. And I said, "Well, did you pin and staple anything?" And he said, "No. The data indicates that the body actually, in severe trauma like that, the body reconnects better than we can. But if you fail to reconnect, we can go back in later and try to do corrective surgery."
Did you use sharp cartilage? Did you go any of those directions where you're trying to...
No, what I did go, as soon as I was a little mobile, I went and got trained in Reiki and running energy. And so I did visualization and Reiki work on myself. And, I'm fully functional now. I won't run marathon distances. When I ski 30 kilometers, my ankle's really sore the next day, but I can ski 30 kilometers. And I can still rock climb and struggle up some difficult climbs every now and then. So
I forgot to tell you
it happens.
Something else. When you have as much titanium in your body as I do, the body is a resonant cavity oscillator, and unfortunately, I have an early warning system when there are earthquakes. What'll happen is about 2 hours before, I'll feel like I have, arthritis.
Oh, okay.
To the point, and I can tell it comes in at 3.8, and the difference between 3.8 and 4.2 is at 3.8 I can feel it, and at 4.2 I can't walk.
Wow.
And that's a bad thing if I'm in a major earthquake.
Yeah, because it's like, there's an earthquake coming and I can't move.
With all the pins and things like that, there are signals going through your body.
Yeah.
Well, the mushrooms are on a different level. We're talking about a mechanical level now.
If you happen to live in a place prone to flooding, having your go bags in a dry bag is an excellent idea. And these are available at like REI, EMS. These are what river guides put their stuff in. And they're totally 100% waterproof. So you could, go out in Hurricane Katrina and put your arms through this and go through the water and use it as a flotation device, and it would keep all of your stuff clean and dry and safe. So it's something to think about. Oh, God, we've got a long ways to go in this. Well, I'll have to go fast. Beans, bullets, and Band-Aids. It's really, beans are your food and supplies, water, food, all that. Bullets, protection, self-defense, and shelter. There's varying thoughts on that. Yes, if you have a gun, someone may well want to take it away from you, but also if you have a gun, then 9 times out of 10, you'll be like, okay, I'll leave you alone. You got a gun. So it's a mixed thing. And if you're confident and good with a gun, that's one thing. Like James Rawls is saying that a really good shooter, hunter type guy with a .22 is much more dangerous than somebody who doesn't know what they're doing with an AK-47. So it's a mixed thing. I'm not a real gun fanatic, but I acknowledge that this is a heavily armed world that we live in. And I was a good shot when I was a kid, and it really sucks right now. And so I obviously have to go out and practice. And it's on my list, and I need to do it, and I encourage other people to do it. It's not like riding a bicycle. I was surprised when I went out shooting with my son. He figures I'm too much of a pacifist, so he's got to handle this end for me. But now that he's not living with me, I've got to step up to the plate and do a little more in this direction, in my opinion. Band-Aids, that's first aid, medicine, and healing. Training, skills, and practice are at least as important, probably more important than the supplies. And again, if you don't have the money, focus on building your skills. Build your body. Like someone was mentioning, what about your health? Take care of dental things. Don't let them wait. Try to be as healthy and physically active as you can be. Not everybody can be. Everybody gets older. It happens to me and it happens to everybody. But do the best with what you have within your capabilities. And realize that in this day and age, with GMO foods, and with electromagnetic fields affecting a lot of people and smart meters, that you may find that you can turn the clock back on yourself by switching to organic foods, by cleansing your body, by doing fasting, by doing the Beck protocol, and by avoiding GMO foods like the plague. And if you're electrosensitive, you may find that if you can get away from cell phones, and especially wireless routers, if I sit too near a wireless router, I get visual migraines. If I looked at you, your head would be gone. I'd see a big space like this of shimmering something, and I'd only have peripheral vision. So it really affects different people to different extents. So it's something to be aware of. If you're feeling not so good and you used to feel a lot better, start paying attention to what things are different in today's world than they used to be. And it may not just be getting older. Okay, beans. Start simple, build up, depending on your space and your budget. 2 weeks minimum in your pantry, month a lot better. A year plus is best. I probably got 6 months on hand now, working towards a year. Whole wheat properly stored can last for centuries, but today's wheat, unless it's organic, is GMO. And so, pay attention to that when you're storing it, because that stuff has different effects on your body. Brown rice, I love brown rice, but it tends to go rancid in 1 to 3 years. Even when properly stored in nitrogen, it's not going to last probably more than 5. White rice will last a lot longer. It doesn't have all the nutritive stuff, but it lasts way longer. Shelf life versus real shelf life. If a can is bulging, don't dare touch it. Get rid of it. It doesn't make sense to buy cheap cans that are near the date of exposure unless you're going to eat them right away. It doesn't make sense to buy dented cans because that compromises the inner protection, and it's going to go bad much faster than regular stuff. The Mormons do a lot of food storage, and they found they test food that's been there 10, 15, 25 years. Typically, you're talking like stored meats and like acidic fruits, 2-3 years maximum. Canned vegetables and stuff, 5 years. But realistically, if it's not bulging and doesn't smell bad, you're probably going to eat it. Realistically, figure maybe 5 years for canned fruits and meats at max, maybe 10 to 15 years for other stuff. Dried foods tend to be good, okay, 15 to 20. Use your nose, use your taste. If it tastes bad, don't eat it.